Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please get the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card that we are starting our day off with today. The star flying out of the deck in its reversal. So this is going to feel a little bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy right now, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine right now, what we're really seeing is this is a moment of trying to come into a deeper sense of authenticity. There are some moments right now where you may be feeling underseen, underappreciated, and a lot of today is going to be working about coming into your true, authentic expression of self at the moment. This could be allowing you to feel somewhat disassociated. Often when we see the star in its reversal, this can start to feel like a bit of disassociation energy. This could be feeling like a bit of going inwards because the feminine energy is at a place where they're not feeling like they can be their most vulnerable, authentic self. We see that this is going to be a challenge and a block today for feminine as they work to go through this right now. While for masculine energy right now, this could be a lot of concentration or orientation right now on a feminine energy. If you are in union right now, this is working through a feminine energy that could be experiencing some of this feeling right now, trying to help them come back into a space where they can feel open and vulnerable towards you right now. For the other part of the masculine collective right now, this could be feeling like there is a feminine energy that is at a distance from you, and they're at a distance from you, and that they're not accessible for one reason or another, which I'm sure we're going to get into clarification on as we pull some of these cards that we're going to be pulling. The next card that we have coming through right now in our 5-card spread, the next card for the deck is 2 cards coming out for clarification. Oh my goodness. We've got here our Knight of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with the 5 of Wands. Now, this is very intriguing because if you were with us yesterday here, my friends, you may remember that this card was in its upright, but we will also recognize that one thing about this, and this will feel different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy right now, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Masculine energy yesterday was going through some moments, some doubts, some vulnerabilities coming into play, specifically as it relates to their own ability to communicate right now and their own ability to manage their own emotional feelings at this moment. All of it was coming into a point of orientation right now around the masculine energy, recognizing that they need to come forward in some way with something tangible, with something that they can offer to help ease any of those feelings of difficulty that they themselves were experiencing, particularly as it relates to the feminine energy right now. Today, we're seeing for masculine energy some of that anxiety and that doubt also coming into play right now, because what we're really identifying at this moment is for masculine energy, and this is looking more like practical issues right now, especially with this being in its reversal with the 10 of Wands. There's a moment right now for masculine energy that is feeling like a bit of a difficulty, because for masculine energy right now, there is a feeling of feeling somewhat put out, feeling at a certain extent that there is an inability to come forward right now. We saw this entirely in the daily collective read yesterday. If you missed that, you can find it on my YouTube. It's also there. But what you'll also identify is this is the same challenge that the masculine energy was experiencing yesterday. There's some feelings right now of feeling somewhat indisposed that the masculine energy is currently experiencing. They're putting a lot of time and effort and energy right now in moving out to close cycles right now to allow for there to be an easement as it relates to what they can provide. For the masculine energy right now that is in union, this is you doing a lot of tangible work right now, taking a lot of this effort right now to try to come forward in a bigger way for the feminine that may be feeling at a moment where they're feeling underseen or underappreciated or undervalued at this time. But we're seeing for masculine energy, there's a lot of effort that needs to happen around this moment, and a lot of that energy that you're putting in right now is to that effort. It's so you can come forward with a more solid offer to be able to support the feminine more. While for the other half of the masculine energy right now, this could be feeling like a point of deep frustration, because what we're really seeing here is there could be a feminine energy right now that you are putting a lot of concentration towards right now. You are working to manifest for yourself in this moment, but you are recognizing and you are seeing that there is something that is somewhat inaccessible to you, to this feminine energy right now, because they don't feel they can be open to to you because they don't feel that they can be their most authentic expression of self. And also because there's something about your own tangible life right now that is making it practically almost impossible for you to be able to offer something to that energy that might alleviate this at this moment. But we see here potentially with this 10 of Wands energy that the masculine is also, even if you're not in union right now, putting this care and effort right now in situations and circumstances to allow for some cycles to close so that you can come forward in a more tangible expression as it relates to those situations and circumstances. For feminine energy right now, this is the clarification on why you might be feeling some of this feeling of star in its reversal. Thank you so much for the adorable gift. For feminine energy right now, there is this feeling of feeling somewhat underseen, somewhat unable to be your most authentic expression of self. You are in a point where you are feeling somewhat disassociated. Again, for those of you that are in union right now, this could be causing some issues because some of the masculine energy right now isn't able to come forward with a degree of support that you know that they want to be able to, but they are for some practical reasons unable to be as supportive at this moment. But again, you are doing this work with that masculine energy to cross any hurdles, to allow for any completions of cycle, to allow for that point of easement. This is a lot of clarification on the Hangman in its reversal that we got just 2 days ago. While for the other part of the feminine collective right now, this is a moment where, again, you are feeling like somewhat disassociated. You are in a moment where, again, there are some spaces or places where you feel like you can't be your most authentic expression of self, potentially with a lot of orientation right now towards a masculine energy that you may be waiting on to provide some kind of sign of tangible opportunity or offer here at play. For the other half of the feminine collective, this isn't a moment where you're waiting. This is a moment where you may be just recognizing that there is something here where a masculine energy isn't able to come forward in this tangible way for you at this time. And this is allowing for those cycles to complete. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. The fourth card in our 5-card spread for today is, we have here the 4 of Cups in its reversal. And we like to see this right now because what we're really identifying again for masculine and feminine energy is this is a moment of doing a lot of work. We see here that there is a lot of effort that is being done right now for both masculine and feminine. For masculine, a lot of this work is being done in the tangible space right now, allowing cycles to complete, doing some work right now, potentially even making some big moves today to allow for a point of easement as you come forward from this point so that you can show up in a better way, potentially towards feminine energy. For some of the masculine collective right now, this is a moment that you are doing a lot of this work, specifically recognizing that the work that you're doing is preventing you from being able to be there for the feminine energy that you're in union with at this time. But again, you're doing this work all to make a point of easement as you go forward from this point. Well, for the masculine energy that is not in union right now, this is you potentially completing some cycles right now, doing a lot of work to be able to show up in a more tangible way for some energy of feminine that you feel that you have a lot of attention and manifestation towards right now, but you feel is blocked or limited from you because you aren't able to show them this any kind of offer here right now. This is that moment right now that is allowing you to make different choices. What we're really identifying right now for the masculine energy is this is a moment that you are recognizing that different choices are ultimately going to lead you to different results. Again, this would also give a lot of clarification on some of that Fool energy that we saw just the other day, because what we're really recognizing here is this is a moment where you are trying different things. You are opening yourself to different options. You are exploring different possibilities in order to come into a state of easement so that you can show up in a better way for this energy if you are in union right now. For the masculine energy that is not in union right now, this is showing that there's some kind of blockage right now as it relates to a feminine energy that you feel is at a distance from you, potentially doesn't feel like they can be their most vulnerable, expressive selves around you at this moment. But we see here that you're closing a lot of cycles and you are taking a lot of different steps for yourself in this moment to try to get into connection with this energy. For the feminine energy right now, again, for those feminine energies that are in union right now, this is a moment of feeling somewhat at a distance from the masculine energy. There is something here about feeling like you are more in a point where you are not being seen by this energy right now. You are feeling a bit at a loss right now. You are recognizing, though, that this energy is at a practical space right now where they might not necessarily be able to lend you the support that you would ideally desire at this moment, but you are working with that energy to complete cycles, to allow this to occur, because you recognize that there is a point of completion where this will become easier, and this is what's allowing you to take some of these different approaches right now as it relates to how to go forward. A lot of this easing of the difficult cycle is all in the different choices that you're making at this time, and you're working in unison and partnership with the masculine energy to create a state of easement, offering new opportunities for those moments that they're not able to be immediately a stabilizing force for you at this moment. For the other half of the feminine collective right now, this is you potentially working through a situation or circumstance where you are recognizing that you are being underseen. You're not able to be your true, authentic expression of self, potentially around a masculine that is showing you in some way or degree that they are not able to come forward to you in some tangible way. They're not able to provide the support. And this is you allowing that cycle to potentially close out because you are recognizing that you yourself are taking a different direction for yourself at this moment, that you're not in the space of wanting to repeat any cycles where it may have left you feeling underseen or undervalued. And this is you making a different choice for yourself to move away from anything that is showing you that it cannot provide the stability in a consistent fashion. Final card for the first 5 before we start getting clarification on these cards right now. The last card in our first 5 before we get clarification is, we've got here, we love this energy, we've got here our 6 of Cups. So this is beautiful. This is very beautiful energy that we're seeing here today. A continuation of some of that beautiful energy that we were seeing yesterday in the cards right now. What are we really seeing? Again, for masculine energy that's currently in partnership at this moment, there is this feeling of feeling at a bit of a disadvantage. That would give a lot of clarification to all of that 9 of Cups in its reversal that we've been getting over the last few days. There's something here about your own tangible space, your own tangible situation that is making it hard for you to be able to be as present for the energy of the feminine around you at this time. But you are doing a lot of this work. And I think that one of the things for the masculine energy that's in union right now is trying to help express that you are doing a lot of this work right now to show this energy that you are going to be able to come forward in a more tangible way as you go forward from this point. It is requiring you to make some different choices than choices that you've made in the past, but you're willing to take some of this risk. You're willing to try something different at this time, specifically because you recognize the fact that this is healed karmic energy that you're working with right now. So for the masculine energy that is in healed karmic energy right now, this is the work that you're doing in order to amend or correct the partnership, to get out of any space or place where the feminine is feeling at a bit of a disadvantage or underseen or at a place where they're not necessarily being able to get the support that they need at this time. While for feminine energy for the masculine energy that is not in partnership right now, this is a moment that you yourself are potentially working right now, that there may be some energy around you right now of a feminine that is not showing some degree or ability of being as open and as vulnerable as you would ideally desire right now, feeling like some of that feminine energy is at a distance from you at this moment, because putting some orientation on the fact that there is some limitation on what you can potentially offer this energy at this time. But we see that you're putting a lot of work, you're putting a lot of effort in right now to try to make some changes in your own life right now to create a state of easement. Again, also potentially making some different choices right now than ones you previously made, all for the sense of trying to work into the fact that you are recognizing that there is a healed karmic partnership here, or a karmic connection that you want and you have a deep desire to heal at this moment, and you're putting a lot of effort and energy into trying to heal that connection at this time. For feminine energy, for the other part of the masculine collective right now, this could also be you potentially separating away from a feminine that you're recognizing is not coming forward in this way right now, regardless, because of your own abilities. But again, even then, you're also keeping that orientation right now on building healed karmic connections that can support you even at moments that you yourself are at a place of feeling some tangible indisposal. For the feminine collective right now, what we're really seeing for those in partnership at this moment is this is a moment that you are really working right now with a masculine that is a bit indisposed, that there's equal work that you're both doing right now to try to create a point of easement as you proceed forward from this time. You are taking different choices right now. You are taking different approaches, all for the sake of working to continue to heal that connection through some difficulties that you're working through at the time. For the feminine energy right now that is not in partnership, this is a moment that the feminine energy is putting a lot of orientation on the masculine energy and really asking to see whether that masculine energy can be supportive even in the midst of difficulties, even in the midst of hurdles. For some of the feminine energy right now, there's a recognition that there may be some practical issues that are blocking a connection, but you are willing to take these different approaches, these unconventional approaches for yourself at this time, because you're recognizing the value of the healed karmic connection between you and this energy at this moment. For the other half of the feminine collective right now, this is a moment that you are potentially recognizing that there may be someone who isn't coming through as supportive. You are allowing yourself to move away and break those cycles right now, specifically because you are taking a different choice for yourself, moving to manifest the healed karmic connections that are able to give you support even when situations and circumstances are difficult. Let's get some clarification on these cards right now. Clarification between our Star card in its reversal in combination with our Knight of Pentacles in its reversal. And yeah, it's going to feel a little bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy right now, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Thank you so much for the gift. For feminine energy, there is a feeling today that can feel frustrating. This is where we see the feminine blockage right now, because there is something here where you're feeling underseen. You're feeling at a point that you're not necessarily able to be your most full, authentic expression of self. Potentially, again, due to a fact of, again, a masculine energy that you are in partnership with right now that isn't able to be presently here or presently offer the tangible support that you would ideally require at this moment. Or for the feminine energy, this could be a moment where you are putting a lot of orientation right now towards masculine energy around you right now and feeling like you are not in a space where you are being supported because the masculine energy isn't giving you anything tangible to hold on to at this moment. And that is creating this space of you feeling like you are a star in its reversal, that you're not necessarily in a space where you can be your most authentic self because the energy around you isn't creating that ongoing stabilizing force for you at this time. While for masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you are feeling practically indisposed. There's something, again, around some of this energy right now. For some of the masculine energy right now, there's some situations or circumstances that are not allowing you to be able to be as present or as stable as around the feminine energy around you at this moment. But what we're really seeing right now is this is a moment that you yourself are recognizing that you yourself are doing some work right now to lend support even at this moment that you cannot tangibly be present right now towards a feminine energy to help them understand and recognize that this is a practical concern. While for the other half of the masculine collective right now, this is a moment that you are feeling a manifestation of feminine energy that you are seeing or recognizing is at a place where they don't feel they can be their most authentic, vulnerable expression of self to you. You could even be feeling like there is this point of distance between you and this energy at this moment. And this is creating some uncertainty as to what you can actually bring forward to this energy to bring them into a space of being able to be open in this way towards you right now. This is a lot of work that you're recognizing the changes that you might need to make right now to amend any of this lack of vulnerability or lack of availability of this energy to you at this time. May I please have one card to clarify? We got 3 cards to clarify. It's going to be one of those readings today, folks. It's going to be one of those readings. We're okay. We're here for it. It's all right. It's good reading when they're complicated. So there's a lot of complicated energy out here right now. Let's get into it. So what's going on right now with this masculine and feminine energy? The masculine being in a place where there's some tangible offers that aren't necessarily coming through right now, making it difficult for them to be forward with the feminine. For feminine, feeling some of this disassociation energy towards the masculine because they're not able to show up in the tangible space as much as they would ideally desire at this point. For both masculine and feminine energy right now, this is a moment of, again, a lot of work as it relates to the outside energy at this moment. What we're really identifying here is for both masculine and feminine energy right now. What's really interesting, and for the energy that's in partnership right now, this is very, very interesting energy, because what we're really seeing here at this time is this moment that, again, for masculine and feminine, we keep seeing there's requiring some unconventional approaches right now to help identify that there is a priority being set as it relates to the choices and the energy that are around you at this time. That there's something here for both masculine and feminine. For the masculine energy, this is a moment that you might not necessarily be able to be as stabilizing as you want at this time. There's something here about not being able to immediately show up in the tangible space for the feminine, but you're doing a lot of work at this moment to try to articulate to the feminine energy that your priorities are your priorities. You know where your priorities lie, and you know that the outside energy is not necessarily as much of a concern, and that these tangible issues are literally tangible issues, but it is requiring you to take some unorthodox approaches at this time to try to build this connection, because we do see here that there is some tangible blockages. While for the other half of the masculine collective right now, could be feeling like there is a moment of deep uncertainty and confusion as it relates to how you want to come forward towards a feminine that you feel that you're trying to manifest, but that you aren't necessarily in connection with right now. And that has a lot to do with understanding around that energy, and between the both of you, where the priorities lie, whether that energy is in commitment. For some of you, this could even be the masculine energy trying to determine if the energy that you're moving towards right now is in a state of commitment, but also necessarily having this focus towards this feminine energy right now, because you yourself are at a place right now where you are recognizing where your own priorities lie. For even masculine energy right now that is not in commitment, even here the orientation is in commitment, but requiring you to take some unorthodox approaches as you try to move towards feminine right now. For the feminine energy right now that we're seeing with the star in its reversal, this is that moment too, that for the feminine energy that's in union right now, this is a point of orientation where, again, you are not necessarily seeing that tangible support from the masculine energy right now, but you're still feeling supported in some fashion, because there is an articulation on where the priorities lie. There is an articulation on the fact that there is an outside energy, and there is an articulation about the fact that at the moment you have to take some unconventional approaches as you proceed forward from this point. For the feminine energy that is not in union right now, this could be a feeling right now of putting a lot of assessment. Again, this is a lot of investigation energy towards some masculine energy that you are identifying that isn't coming towards you in the way you would desire as it relates to being able to offer like some tangible offers here, some tangibility in terms of what they're offering. That is a moment that you're kind of using to help build your recognition on where this energy is. This is like the opposite for the energy that's not in union right now, because you're using that articulation of that offer not coming through, of that tangible support not coming through, as clarification on the fact that you are recognizing where your priorities lie, but recognizing that you feel that there is outside energy that may be interfering with this, and that's what's allowing you to be able to move forward and away from some circumstances and situations at this time. Whew. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, between our Knight of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our 10 of Wands. So for masculine energy here, again, for some of the masculine collective right now, what we're really identifying is there is a moment right now that you yourself are going through. You are feeling like to some degree there are some circumstances and situations that are taxing you, that are making it difficult for you to be able to come forward with the tangible offers at this moment. For some of the masculine energy right now, this is you allowing some cycles to come to a point of completion. You are recognizing to a certain extent that there's something here that you cannot, that you may desire. We keep seeing this. You may desire to move forward towards at this point with the feminine, but you're recognizing that you simply don't have the ability to in your own life. There's something about this being a point of like recognizing an intangible that you cannot provide this energy. And that's what's allowing you to move forward and closing some cycles right now. For the other half of the masculine energy right now, this is you recognizing that there is a feminine energy that you want to move in partnership with, but is feeling a little bit underseen because of your own inability to be as present at this moment. But you are doing this work, you are doing this effort to try to communicate to this energy that there are changes that are being actively worked on right now to help build this space where you'll be able to offer something that feels more stable and secure more moving forward. For feminine energy right now, this is a moment that, again, you are feeling somewhat underseen, not being able to be your most authentic expression of self. Towards masculine right now, for some of you, this is a moment that you're just looking at this masculine energy that you may have been manifesting or working or putting a lot of energy in, and just recognizing that they're giving some indication, some clear indication that they're not able to come forward in a tangible way. That regardless of what they may be communicating or showing you in one degree or desire, that there's something that's clearly being indicated in their own actual ability to come forward at this moment. And this is what's allowing you right now to be able to close those cycles, to move away from that energy, because you're just really asking yourself, what can this energy really bring forth? What can they actually offer that's going to feel stable and supportive going forward? This is that moment of recognizing that that energy doesn't necessarily have that ability to show any degree of support, and that's what's allowing the cycle to close right now. Well, for the other half of the feminine collective right now, this is a moment that you are orienting around a manifestation of masculine that you may be, again, feeling like it is a healed karmic connection. There's something about this energy that's showing that in some degree or capacity right now, they do not have the ability to be as present or as stable as they would desire. But you recognize the fact that there's active work occurring to allow that to change. And this is what's giving you that encouragement to continue forward with this energy, because you recognize that that capacity and degree and desire for change is present. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with the Seven of Wands. And we really love seeing this, because what we're really identifying at this time is this is the moment for both feminine and masculine energy, that they're really identifying what they're willing to fight for at this moment. And what's really beautiful about this card coming up with this orientation here is the fact that for both a masculine and feminine energy, whether you are in union right now or whether you're in separation, this is some of that clarity that you're getting that's helping you close out cycles as you move forward from this time. For masculine energy, again, that is in a point right now where there is some tangible degree or inability that is blocking you from being able to be as present for the feminine energy that is now in a point where they are not necessarily feeling as seen or as valued. We see here that the masculine is putting in immediate work. They're putting in the hard work. They're showing some degree or capacity of willing to go forward and make the changes necessary, even through some difficulties, because there's an articulation happening towards the feminine right now, that they're willing to fight, that they're showing this degree that this is not something that they're willing to let go of just because it is difficult. They're showing that capacity of degree of wanting to put the effort in, wanting to fight through something, even if it's difficult, that is lending support to the energy of the feminine that may be feeling underseen at this moment. For the masculine energy that's not in connection right now with feminine, this is a moment that you are building your own orientation, because you're recognizing here, you're seeing the fact that there is a feminine that you want to move towards right now, but you don't have the ability to. There's something here that's literally causing a blockage between you and this energy right now. But you are also, again, either for some of the masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you yourself are potentially accepting that you can't come forward in this way. You're allowing the cycle to close. But even now, like, it is feeling like a struggle to do so. For the other part of the masculine, because there's a part of you that wants to fight to kind of maintain this. For the other part of the masculine energy right now, there is a recognition right now that there is something that is practically blocking you right now from being able to move towards a manifestation of feminine that is not as open to you, not as vulnerable to you, because of your own ability to not be able to show up in a consistent fashion. But we see here that you're putting this work in right now. You're putting in this energy. And because you're really deciding now what you want to fight for, what is worth fighting for versus what you want to let go. For feminine energy right now, this is you observing this right now in the masculine energy that is around you at this moment. For some of the feminine energy that's in union, as I said, this is a moment that you're recognizing that your partnership energy might be in a space where they are kind of indisposed because of circumstances or situations. They cannot show up for you as tangibly as you may desire right now. But you recognize the fact that there's work that's happening right now to try to amend this, that this work is allowing for a cycle to complete, and that this to a certain degree is something that you are willing to continue to fight and work through right now, because you recognize that this is a healed karmic energy that is tangibly being indisposed at this time. For the other half of the feminine collective right now, there is a moment that this is just an act of release, because you're recognizing right now that there is some masculine energy that you're waiting to show up in some capacity, in some degree, to be able to show anything they're able to offer, to provide some sort of support right now, to show some sort of offer. And if you're not receiving it right now, this is that moment that you yourself are walking away. You're allowing that cycle to close, because that's the moment that you're recognizing to a certain extent that you yourself would fight for something, that you yourself are always kind of in a space of fighting for something. And you are really identifying that you're feeling to some degree that potentially this energy is not showing any capacity and degree to be able to fight through something, even when something is feeling difficult. So even here, we are seeing the fact that this is an act of release for the feminine that is not in connection with the masculine right now. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 10 of Wands, cycle of completion, hard work paying off, putting in the work to allow cycles to complete, willing to take the burden on to be able to build towards something that is working you towards your long-term paths and your long-term goals at this moment, which is requiring you to take some unconventional approaches. This is some of that leap of faith energy that we saw with the Hangman showing up in its reversal just the other day, that there's something about this work that you're setting yourself on the path on right now that is a bit different than anything that you've done before. But we're showing here that there is a commitment to this process, allowing cycles to close so that you can take these new opportunities and explore these new opportunities for yourself, even in the midst of them being a point of difficulty as you do so. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with our Page of Wands in its reversal. This card refuses to come up upright. And what do I keep saying about communication at this moment, my friends? Communication, communication, communication. Communication is what is saving the day. Communication is everywhere where the differentiation point right now between whether the cycles are closing or whether the cycles are opening up right now. For some of the masculine energy and the feminine energy, this is what we're really seeing, that there is a moment right now where there is a commitment that is occurring for both masculine and feminine energy. Thank you so much for the gift. Masculine and feminine and energy are doubling down. You are concentrating. You are putting your efforts and energy in what you are trying to build with in this moment. And it is a cycle of completion as it relates to your own commitments. It's really kind of showing you the tasks that you're really putting yourself upon as you allow some cycles to complete as you go forward from this time. And those cycles are allowing you, they're even giving you some space of taking some unconventional approaches for yourself at this moment. And all of them, the cycles that you're allowing to complete and close right now, are based on the cycles that are not providing the communication, are based on the cycles that are not providing the communication. That there's a moment right now that, again, for masculine and feminine, that you are allowing yourself to take these unconventional approaches entirely based on what you feel is creating that space where you can communicate around the work that you are building for yourself at this moment. For feminine and masculine right now, this is working again for the masculine and feminine energy in union right now. This is working through any communication hurdles, taking unconventional approaches as you continue forward from this point. For the feminine and masculine energy that's not in communication, this is that moment about determining what choices you're going to make, what you're allowed to close right now versus what you're willing to move forward on with a new way, in a new desire, taking an unconventional approach. And it all has to do with whether the energy is communication, in which case you're letting it close, versus taking these new choices for yourself in this moment. Everything is based on the communication from this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Four of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Six of Cups energy. So what we really like about this right now is, again, there is an orientation right now. There is a concentration towards the healed karmic energies at this moment. The healthy, healed karmic energies at this moment. What energies you feel are coming through as supportive, as stable, as providing this level and degree of support. For both masculine and feminine energy, what we're really identifying here is something about building these healthy karmic connections right now is requiring you to make a different choice. It's requiring you to do something that you haven't done before in a different way. But we see here that you're willing to take this leap of faith. You're willing to take this new opportunity, this different possibility for yourself in this moment, because you are recognizing the healed karmic energy around it at this time. For some of the energy right now, specifically for the feminine, this could be moving away from any energy that is showing that it isn't able to provide that sense of stability. This is feeling like a new choice for yourself at this moment, not to stick around, to an energy that isn't creating the stable environment while you get the support of the karmic healthy energies around you as you make this choice for yourself. For the other feminine energy, this is working with the healed karmic connection of the masculine in your own life right now to take some unconventional choices, to take some like real interesting choices right now, to take some risks because you're recognizing a safe environment to do so. Well, for masculine energy right now, what we're really identifying is this is a moment that you yourself are feeling you are somewhat indisposed. There's something here about your own practical circumstances and situations that are blocking you from being able to be as present towards the feminine right now. For some of you right now, this is you taking those unconventional approaches, even in the state that you aren't necessarily able to be as present with that energy, all for the sake of building the healthy karmic energy right now. For the other half of the energy right now, this is you trying to take some unconventional steps right now so that you can move towards those healed karmic energies that you're trying to build right now, towards some feminine energy that you feel is at a distance from you at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with the Four of Swords. This is indicating a need. There's something here that is requiring some periods of rest. It's very intriguing here because what we're seeing here is this is that point right now. And again, this is what we're seeing that is causing that clarification between the masculine and the feminine that's in this healing right now. Because what we're really seeing is for the masculine energy right now that is not able to tangibly show up for the feminine in the way that they would desire, but is still trying to heal the karmic connection. There is something here about communicating the fact that this is just a pause. That there's something here that is showing that whatever this lack of ability or degree to come forward in this moment right now is, it's not a long-term situation or circumstance. It is a momentary circumstance that is requiring them not to be available for a period of time. That is what is being communicated, and some alternative options coming through right now to help build the connection, even as this is a temporary circumstance and situation. For the other half of the masculine collective right now, there is a moment right now that may be working right now towards an energy of feminine that you feel like you are not in connection with right now. You are working to potentially try to heal that energy right now by taking this unconventional approach, by trying to communicate to that energy that there was something around this being a pause. That there's something here about like having required or needed this degree of time in order to come forward in the way that you would ideally desire right now. So again, for the healed energies right now, this is that point of masculine energy, identifying some of that pause. For the feminine energy right now, what we're really seeing is this is a moment that you yourself are feeling somewhat underseen, somewhat undervalued, that there is something here where you are working right now, again, with the healed karmic energies around you right now to take some unconventional approaches. Because again, you also recognize that this is a short situation. This is a short-term situation or scenario that you find yourself in. This is a little pause, but it is not an indefinite way of being. And you're working right now on building those alternative ways of building connectivity, even while there is something here about that energy not being able to be as present for you at this time. While for the other half of the feminine collective, this is that moment that we see that you are potentially shedding or moving away from a masculine energy where you are feeling underseen or undervalued, where you're recognizing that there is something around this energy that isn't creating any ability to be able to show that degree or capacity of coming forward in this way. That there's this moment right now that you are truly identifying that that energy is not able to come forward in a way that is showing any point of sustainability, that is able to show any point of consistency, that they have nothing to effectively offer you because they haven't come forward with anything that even feels mildly like an offer. And that's that moment that, again, you're taking this moment to allow those cycles to close, taking a different choice for yourself, getting the support of the healthy karmic energy around you right now as you take this time to rest and come back into balance from those energies and what you didn't necessarily receive from them. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Clarification between this like doozy of a card that we're seeing here right now between The Hierophant in its reversal, the Two of Pentacles in its reversal, the Three of Cups in its reversal, and the Seven of Wands in its upright. So clarification, again, this is a moment of really everyone kind of moving forward right now and building the priorities in place as you proceed forward from this point right now. What we're really seeing at this moment is this is a moment that for both masculine and feminine energy right now, there is a point of orientation, of really focusing right now on what you are trying to lay as your priorities at this moment. It is requiring both masculine and feminine energy right now to take some unconventional approaches. It is also requiring right now a moment, but there is a moment that's coming through for both masculine and feminine energy where you're just moving away from any energy that you feel is not necessarily focusing as it relates to building ability to build priorities, even in a moment that is feeling like a point of difficulty. What we're really identifying at this moment is there is something for both masculine and feminine energy right now that feels like a bit of a struggle. But what we appreciate right now is for the healed energies right now, the healed karmic connections. This is a moment that you are going through this point of struggle right now. You are taking some unconventional approaches at this time because you recognize that the priorities are in place here and there is no anxiety as it relates to outside energy. Well, for the energies right now that are not necessarily in union, this is a moment that, again, you are building your sense of what you want to fight for, what you want to lay as your priorities at this moment, willing to even be able to take some unconventional approaches, so long as the energy around you right now shows this capacity and degree of an ability to fight for something, to be able to maintain something even through the face of adversity, and also a laying down of priorities, even as it relates to outside energy, as you go through some circumstances and scenarios that are requiring this. This is that orientation point to decide whether you're going to move forward and taking some unconventional approaches at this time, or whether you're just breaking away from energy at this point because there is a confusion point between priorities and outside energy around circumstances and situations. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with Justice card, and we love to see it because what we're really identifying right now is this is that moment of balance. This is that moment of coming into balance for both masculine and feminine energy. This is a moment of orientation in terms of what you are trying to build as it relates to creating these spaces and places of balance as you proceed forward from this point. This is that moment right now that for both masculine and feminine, this is the goal right now, is to achieve balance. And it's going to be about achieving balance even through some hurdles, even through some obstacles right now as you proceed forward from this point. For both masculine and feminine energy, the solution in finding this balance in partnership right now is coming through in terms of being able to, again, be able to have some of this flexibility that we're seeing as it relates to how we're going to proceed going forward. For masculine energy, we are seeing right now that there is a lot of energy coming through with not being able to come forward as tangibly as you might ultimately desire at this moment. But what we're really identifying at this moment right now for the energies that are in partnership is there's a joint collaboration that you're moving into right now that recognizes that you are willing and able to take some unconventional approaches at this time because you recognize that the focus on priorities is here, even in the face of outside energy being present, and that there is a degree and willingness to fight for what you're trying to preserve between yourself right now, which is allowing this ability right now to create balance, even in the sense of some difficult circumstances or situations. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in partnership right now, what we're really identifying is this is that point of you deciding what energy you are going to shed as you proceed forward from this point versus the energy that you're willing to move forward into as it relates to deeper commitments. Because there is something here that the energy that is not in partnership right now, what you're really using to have a point of orientation is the recognition that you are looking for that degree or capacity of the energy around you to really show you in some way, shape, shape, or form that you are the priority, even in the face of outside energies, and that there is a degree and capacity that the energy around you is willing to fight to help you understand and feel that, especially for feminine right now who's feeling somewhat underseen or undervalued at this time. This is allowing a degree in understanding for feminine where they're willing to take unconventional approaches, so long as this is a point of understanding and acceptance moving forward from this point. But for the other part of the energy right now, we see that this is that moment that you are using potentially to shed any energy, because if the energy is not showing you in any way, shape, or form that they consider you a priority, that there isn't any threat from outside energy, that they aren't willing to fight for it, that this is that moment that you're basically going to break free from it, because that is what the energy needs to be able to maintain balance at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Seven of Wands in combination with our Page of Wands in its reversal. So for masculine and feminine energy right now, what we're really seeing is this is that boundary mark that we're seeing as it relates to what is being released right now and what is being moved forward into right now. And it all has to do with the capacity and degree of the energy that's coming towards you right now in terms of how much you are willing to fight for it. For both masculine and feminine energy right now, all the orientation and all the understanding is helping you make this dividing point between what it is not, who and what is not communicating with you effectively or consistently at this moment, versus the energy that is showing that it is willing to fight with you, for you. It's willing to go to bat. It's willing to go through a lot of this difficulty right now as you overcome any hurdles. For some of the energy right now, there is a moment right now, if you are not feeling like this communication is coming through right now, this is a moment of feeling like you have to feel too much like you have to defend your own integrity or fight to try to keep a connection right now in the face of an energy that's just showing in every way, shape, or form that they're not willing or able to communicate. While for the other part of the energy right now, we see that this is overcoming a hurdle that you may be having as it relates to what you want to communicate. But we see that you're pushing through this hurdle right now in the healed karmic energies, even if the things that you're trying to discuss are difficult or that there are difficulties in being able to articulate it at this time. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with the Five of Wands in its upright. And what's really interesting about this is, again, this is showing that capacity and degree of what is being shed versus what is being maintained at this moment, right? For some of the energy right now, if you are going through a situation or circumstance where you are not in communication, this is that moment where you feel like your own integrity is being challenged at this time. You're feeling now like that lack of communication is becoming a point where you have to defend your integrity. And now it's almost become too volatile. There's something here that we're seeing that is feeling like there's too much about feeling like you have to battle too much just to get basic communication. And that's what's allowing some of this easement as you proceed forward from this point. For the other half of the collective right now, this is a moment that is showing a healing point. Because what this is really showing right now is a degree or capacity that you're currently working right now with an energy that you feel you're having a difficulty in communication with. There are some blockages. There are some difficult conversations that you're trying to have. But you are even going through some moments right now that are creating conflict. But the fact that you're both willing to stick around and maintain and fight through those points of conflict is what is giving you further confirmation that you're willing to take these approaches as you go forward from this time. As I said, communication is entirely key at this moment. Further clarification right now between our Page of Wands in its reversal and our Four of Swords. So this is going to feel a little bit different depending on where you fall in this collective right now. For some of the collective right now, this is undergoing or experiencing right now a situation or circumstance where you yourself are feeling some difficulty in the conversation or correspondence that you're having with an energy. But again, even in some of those hurdles that you're experiencing right now, this energy is showing a capacity and degree of wanting to fight through, wanting to take unconventional approaches, even through any difficulties or hurdles that you're experiencing. This is you continuing to commit to this energy right now because you recognize that this is a short-lived circumstance or situation, that there is something here that feels temporary. It's causing a temporary pause, but that there's still enough here that you're able to move through because this is a difficult conversation that you are having at this moment. For the other half of the collective right now, this is feeling a point of frustration around an energy that is not communicating at this time. And the frustration point is the feeling that this energy isn't communicating. And rather than being gone entirely, it just feels like it is being dormant, almost intentionally dormant, which is creating a feeling of frustration for you as you decide what you are going to release versus good communication versus what you just need to let go of, because there's a feeling here that something is not necessarily communicating just because they want to make you hold on, just because they want to leave a door open, just because they anticipate that you'll be available and willing when they're finally ready to communicate. May I please have one card to clarify? Sorry, someone in the comments has got me laughing. Clarification coming right now with our Emperor energy, which is exactly what we want to see, my friends. And this is beautiful. This is beautiful energy because what we're really identifying at this moment is, again, for masculine and feminine, there is this point of orientation that's coming in for the energies that's working on healing right now. For masculine energy, what's really beautiful about this right now, if you're going through this masculine, is, again, for the masculine energy that's working right now in union with healed karmic energy, this is a moment that you are articulating. You are using this moment to articulate that there is something that is difficult for you to express at this moment. And you are telling that energy about the fact that it is difficult for you to discuss and the fact that you need this type of time as you go through discussing this because it is difficult to talk about. And this is showing that healed masculine energy coming into play here, because this is showing a healed masculine energy that is showing a degree of mastery of the self, that even in a moment that you are experiencing a difficulty explaining something or communicating something, you are even articulating around that at this time and asking for this time and space that you need to do this work for yourself because you're coming into a state of self-mastery. For the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is a moment that is potentially, you may be feeling like this is more of a struggle right now, because this could be speaking right now towards some situations or circumstances that, again, we see that star in its reversal. You may want to communicate right now. You have this degree of desiring to communicate, but you're feeling this anxiety because of the time that has elapsed. You're feeling some of this anxiety about how it will be received. And this is creating a moment for you that is creating a bit of point of you coming into your own self-mastery as you try to determine what to do at this moment. While for feminine energy right now, this is a moment of, again, identifying between the positive energy that is around you at this time that is showing a degree and capacity to work on a healthy karmic connection versus the energy that you might be just letting go of entirely right now. Why? Because this is the clarification point. Because there are difficult conversations that need to be had right now. There are difficult conversations that the feminine is experiencing around the masculine. And this is either, again, a feminine energy that is recognizing and seeing the fact that there is a present masculine energy around them at this time that is having a difficult degree discussing something, and that they are asking for the time. They are asking for the time necessary. And this is what's showing the feminine energy that this is an energy that they can trust, that they can lean on for support, even at moments that they cannot tangibly be there, because the energy is showing a level and degree of self-mastery to communicate even through moments that they do not feel up to communicating. Communicating the lack of ability to communicate is positive communication here, is what we're really seeing. And that is what's giving feminine energy in union right now the support to feel like this is positive, healthy karmic energy, even through a point of difficulty. For the other half of the feminine collective right now, this is a moment of real clarity, because you are feeling right now that there's some circumstances or situations where you've been waiting on energy from someone and you have not been receiving it. And this is that moment that you are identifying about something that feels like it's open-ended, but you're just not getting any information on or communication on. And this is that moment that's helping you clarify the difference between an energy that is unhealed, that shows a capacity and degree of not being able to communicate at all when they're going through something difficult, versus the difference between a healed masculine energy that would be able to articulate, that would be able to communicate, that they cannot communicate at this time because of circumstances and situations. This is allowing for that freeing point for the feminine, because the feminine is not looking at that energy like an emperor energy. They're trying to manifest it at this time, and they're just recognizing that energy now as someone, again, we keep seeing this in the collective, as an energy that's not showing any capacity or degree of being able to come forward, any capacity or degree to be able to work through any difficult situations. This is the clarity for the energy that you're shedding right now as you try to manifest a masculine energy that would show you this capacity and degree of being able to communicate even through moments that they themselves require a point of rest. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Justice card in combination with our Five of Wands. And we like to see this card here. We like seeing these cards in combination, because what we're really identifying here right now is this is a point of balance. A point of balance through an ongoing state of conflict. And that's what's so important as it relates to this circumstance and situation right now. Because what we are seeing for both masculine and feminine energy right now is not the fact that there is not conflict that is potentially occurring. It is whether that conflict is able to maintain a healthy balance, even in the face of a conflict occurring. For feminine and masculine energy right now, this is an observation point. Again, for some of the energy right now, this is looking at a current conflict, either internal and external, and working to build this sense of balance for yourself at this moment. A point of easement to help you as you continue forward from this point. For the other part of the collective right now, this is a moment, and again, this is the separation point that we're seeing between the unhealed and the healed karmic energies right now. Because some of you right now are recognizing, again, the fact that you can be engaged in a point of conflict. You can be actively engaged in a point of conflict, yet still maintain a capacity and degree of balance within it. For some of you, this is a personal experience that you are experiencing, that you are not feeling as much of a conflict point around something because you've come into a state of balance that is giving you clarity at this moment. For the other half of you, this is a beautiful moment where, again, you are working through an active conflict with the energy around you. But because it is a healed karmic energy, you are feeling that even in that state that you are having conflict on, you still recognize that it is a balanced, healthy experience. This is a healthy dispute. This is a healthy conflict. There's a conflict that can be had that is healthy. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with a Magician in its reversal. What's really beautiful about this right now is this is creating a state of clarity and understanding on what can work and what can't work. The difference between what can work in your life right now versus what cannot work. And what we're really seeing here is, again, for some of you right now, this is you going through a moment that you are experiencing some conflict around you, but the conflict you're experiencing, you're finding this beautiful state of grace here where it's not affecting you as much. You're actually able to maintain your composure in the state of some conflict. And that's making you kind of recognize some situations or scenarios around the energy that's with you in that conflict. Because you're recognizing here that that energy might not necessarily be in a space where they themselves can build that sense of balance for you. That's why you're shedding that energy, because you're recognizing that in a moment of conflict, that energy feels like it's moving against you instead of trying to work with you. And that's that moment that you're recognizing that it isn't necessarily for you because it's putting you at a constant state of disadvantage. It's not a productive landscape from which to create anything. This is that point of easement that you're moving away from at this time. While for the other half of the collective right now, there's a point of real value that's coming through right now, because what you're really identifying is some circumstances and situations that you're currently going through right now around an active conflict that you're going into right now. But you're experiencing something very different and rare here, which is the fact that something around this conflict is still creating a sense that feels balanced, that feels even, that feels healthy to a certain extent. And it's helping really orient you in terms of the difference between a healthy, productive disagreement versus any spaces or places that you've moved away from that feel like they were just creating conflict to try to like create a point of disadvantage. This is that moment right now where, again, you're really putting your struggle and orientation on the conflicts that are around you right now. And you're really asking yourself, you're using your observation to truly ask yourself, are these productive conversations? Are these productive conflicts? Are we managing and maintaining these in a healthy way? Or are these conflicts that are just meant to put me at a disadvantage? That are just meant to like be about winning and who gets to do what and about more of a manipulation energy. This is that observation between the difference between a healthy conflict between two healed karmic energies versus any unhealthy conflicts that you are feeling are just meant to put you at a point of disadvantage. But what we like about this so much is even those in conflict in this way right now, you're now using your own sense of judgment to help you to determine that as you go forward. And instead, you're just healing and moving away from anything that's creating this in your life at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Five of Wands in combination with the Emperor. And this is what we really like to see as well. And this will feel a bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy at this time. Because what we're really identifying right now is there's a beautiful moment right now that's happening both for feminine and masculine as it relates to the understanding of conflict and what conflict can truly do. What we're seeing here, again, for the positive, healthy masculine energy that we're working through right now, masculine energy, this is a moment of you coming into a state of self-empowerment. We've been seeing the Emperor coming up repeatedly recently, but this is that moment that you are feeling a point of self-mastery, because there is, again, either an internal conflict that you're currently experiencing at this time or an external one, but you are not letting it get the best of you. You're not letting it get the best of you. Instead, you're finding an ability to maintain a point of self-mastery even through a state of conflict. That's some of that balanced energy that we see that you're bringing into this on your side, masculine energy at this time. And again, you're employing a lot of self-mastery in this point of conflict. And the reason that this conflict does feel somewhat healthy around this is because either you are discovering your own ability to maintain self-mastery in this moment at that point of conflict, or you are recognizing that there's something in that conflict that still allows you this sense of mastery, that still allows you this sense of dignity, that still allows you to maintain this sense of composure, which is showing you the difference between that healthy conflict versus that unhealthy conflict. While for feminine energy, this is a moment of, again, when we say healthy conflict, we are seeing that potentially around masculine energy right now. Because for the feminine energy right now, what's really happening is there is an orientation or circumstance that is helping you understand the difference between being in conflict with a healthy masculine energy that is able to maintain a degree of composure, a degree of self-mastery, even through a difficult conflict, that is giving you the confidence to go forward as you move forward in the healthy karmic connections right now, versus a recognition potentially for feminines of, again, having to go through a point of conflict right now and recognizing the difference between going through conflict with an energy that you feel is more having conflict to create a state of manipulation versus a conflict with a masculine energy that is able to utilize it as fertile ground from which to build from at this moment. This is that moment for feminine, again, looking at conflict and asking and saying, is this a balanced conflict? Is this working with an energy that can maintain their own composure even as we're going through it? Or is it coming through as a point of manipulation? For feminine and masculine, this is a beautiful point of understanding through conflict where that point of power lies and how to maintain that mastery. This is that observation point that we are seeing here coming through so importantly right now with that Hermit energy. For both masculine and feminine energy right now, this is a moment of getting that deeper insight. For both masculine energy, this is a very strong moment, because while we identify that there is some feelings of conflict that you're working through right now, you are finding this degree or ability of self-mastery in you. And that is coming from a lot of this internal work that you're doing with yourself at this moment, not allowing yourself to kind of lose your own head, if you will, when you're feeling this conflict, but allowing it to be this point of orientation of going inwards, of getting that internal insight to help you maintain that sense of composure in a point of conflict at this time. For feminine energy at this time, this is a point of deep self-solitude and observation that is occurring right now. For some of the feminine energy right now, we see with that star, it's a reversal. There's something here about the masculine energy not necessarily being able to be as present. That may be either creating a sense of internal conflict for you at this time, or there could be some experiences you're having right now with active conflict around a masculine energy. But you are utilizing your own observation in terms of your own feelings at this moment to really recognize whether the masculine energy is coming forward from a place where they can be, again, ability and degree to show a level and ability of self-mastery at this moment, even through some issues or circumstances that are difficult, that are giving you the insight you need as to whether these partnerships are balanced, whether you're going to continue to work through a lot of these difficulties with this energy because this energy is showing this mastery of self and this internal ability to assess and recognize their own feelings, even through a point of conflict, versus anything you might be shedding right now that you may have had to recognize or feel in the past would utilize conflict as a point of manipulation to be able to get their way. Big difference here between a magician in its reversal and the emperor in its upright. This is that point of clarification in terms of what you want to move into, moving away and shedding any of that energy you feel isn't in alignment in that way at that point. Final card of clarification today, two incredibly powerful major arcana that we are ending our reading for today on, between our magician in its reversal in combination with our hermit energy. So this is really a point, again, for both masculine and feminine. It's not that everything is easy peasy right now. It's not that everything is moving exactly the way that you would desire. We saw that with the Four of Wands. There is a point of working right now to come into a state of easement. There is something here where there's a lot of concentration on what isn't necessarily working right now. Again, being able to get into, and then some self-doubt coming through right now for both masculine and feminine. For masculine, this is coming through as a lot of self-doubt right now in the tangible space, in what it is that you can actually offer situations or circumstances in order to come to a point of easement. While for feminine right now, this is a little bit more of the doubt and ability of your own sense of self, of your own ability to be seen and recognized at this time. But for both masculine and feminine energy right now, there is this degree and desire of trying to go inwards to get to the bottom of these circumstances and situations. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with the Temperance card, and we love to see this because what we're really seeing is, again, this is a feeling that this is a momentary blockage, that there's something here that is saying that time is going to give all the answers that are required here, that what is really the solution to these circumstances and feelings right now that you're having around your own doubts of the self is, again, this recognition that this feeling may not necessarily last, that this is a temporary feeling that you're currently experiencing, that these are temporary circumstances that are potentially blocking you, that again, if you're moving away from any energy that you feel was potentially manipulating you, because this will fall on two different sides right now of the collective. For half of the collective right now, this is a moment that you are working right now in union with energy. You are looking and putting a lot of observation in what is not working, but you are doing a lot of internal work, both in together and in solitude on your own, to get a better understanding of how to move forward in a more productive way going forward right now. And that is that requirement of time, being able to find a point of easement as you continue through some of these obstacles and hurdles that you're currently experiencing. While for the other half of the collective right now, this is just paying a lot of attention and orientation right now towards any energy you feel might be not necessarily working with you in the capacity and degree that you would desire. Recognizing what you feel might be feeling like more of a manipulation energy than a collaboration energy. And this is that moment that, again, you're going inwards. You're taking this path for yourself right now. Through any of this, allowing yourself to move away from that and giving yourself the patience and degree that you need to just recognize that for what it is as you proceed forward from this point. Bottom of the deck for today's spread is, I love it. But why is it in its reversal? Why is it in its reversal? Why is it in its reversal? Okay. So there is some feeling here. Again, this is one of the problems that we're seeing here, because we do see here that there is something about taking different approaches, not going back to situations or scenarios that have caused any difficulty or pain right now. We are seeing here that there is this degree or this need right now to there is this pullback to situations or scenarios that may have caused pain, saying, well, maybe there's something that can be fixed. Maybe there's a point of easement there. Just a reminder, we don't go back to the sword store for puppies or kittens or bunny rabbits. We only get one thing at the sword store. We only get more swords. There is this point we're seeing here that there is this gazing back at some past circumstances or situations, because I see here that there is this degree or capacity or desire to hope that some of those situations from the past have coming into a point of easement. This is also just a point of remembering, though, that any of these points from the past, if they've come into a point of easement, they're probably going to let you know it. They're probably going to let you know it, is what we're really seeing. Because what we really see is, again, some of this energy of going back to situations or scenarios that are causing pain have a lot to do with desiring for different outcomes. We see it potentially here, especially with this star energy for some of the collective for feminine right now, in being able to get those tangible offers or opportunities from someone that you're not necessarily seeing. This is just a reminder not to go back to places or spaces that aren't providing you the things that you need to feel safe, seen, or supported as you continue forward from this point. Don't go back to the sword store. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video with the option of recording sent to you afterwards. Also, please keep in mind, if you book a private reading on my website, it's a two-step process. You have to book the reading, and then you have to pay for the reading. They're two different buttons. So please make sure you hit both buttons if you want to have that reading. Most importantly, please, 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 please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a personal reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your DMs. I will never tell you that I have a very special message for you. The only way you can have a reading with me is if you book one on my website. That's the only real me. There's a lot of counterfeits out there. Don't be fooled. Please do it there. I want to thank you guys so much for having this reading with me today, and we will do this again tomorrow.